I was Commissioner of Hyderabad. That was in 1991. इसको बिठा दिए लाके इधर, हटाओ इसको. So, and I was very happy to come out of it because I was twice attacked by mobs. On one occasion, I almost had to open firing to save my life. अगर इन्होंने अटैक किया ठीक है भाई, हम मर जाएंगे, मगर हम तो मार के मरेंगे. तो ऐसे तो नहीं मरेंगे. I am not going to die because there is no other way. Otherwise, we will be killed.
Now, recently there was a movie named Game Changer.
That I am a permanent civil servant. You were there for 5 years.
Yeah.
This is a very personalized approach. I never took it. Supposing you were my minister and you asked me to do something, I would say plainly, sir, this is not correct. After that, you have a choice. That's how I got transferred so many times.
Yes.
Because I refused.
Yeah.
Any civil servant who thinks like that will definitely get into trouble.
Collector of Khammam district, one of the challenging situations of flood in 1986.
That's right. Karimnagar, Warangal, then down Khammam, and then east and west Godavari. The entire 6 districts of our state were affected. We had stocked the civil supplies in the Girijan Corporation depots, GCC depots. We were able to at least tackle some part of it. But it was an overwhelming flooding. Bhadrachalam had never been witnessed before, or even now it has not been witnessed.
What do you think that we still underestimate about Indian tourism?
In India is the problem of lack of civic sense, or in fact a negative civic sense. So this was my biggest challenge as tourism secretary. So I gave the slogan, safe, honorable and sustainable tourism.
Harish Khwaja sir, welcome to the Honest Hour.
Thank you, Shashank.
Sir, you cracked UPSC in the very first attempt that you gave. Now, at the time that you cracked, you were one of the youngest officers to make it to the final list. Now, when you look back, why do you think, what were the reasons that you were able to crack it in the very first and only attempt?
Firstly, let me thank you very much, Shashank, for
Pleasure to have you here, sir.
For giving me this opportunity of interacting with you. Well, first of all, in life, the only thing that is certain is uncertainty and unpredictability. So I do not give any credit to myself. It is destiny, fate, luck, whatever you say, the blessings of my elders.
Yes.
But what was in my control was that I worked in a very systematic manner. I tried to understand the nature of the examination.
Yes.
And that took me a few months. And then I decided that I am not going to, write more than once.
Okay. It was a conscious decision.
Yes, it was conscious because I had other opportunities. I have a privileged background because I've studied in one of India's best colleges, St. Stephen's College, University of Delhi.
Yes.
And in those days, in 1975, when I wrote the exam 51 years ago, the prestige of the college was so high.
Yes.
That almost everybody could get a job in some private sector. And that advantage was with me. So I was not very worried that what will happen to me if I don't get selected. So I was very relaxed about it. And therefore, I could put in my best efforts. And then, as I said in the beginning, it has a lot to do with destiny and fate.
Sir, public material shows that early in your career, you were given up a lot of social sector assignments, and you also faced and experienced to deal with a lot of calamities. Now, as a young civil servant, when you see such kind of issues or, calamities, natural disasters, or public suffering per se, up and close, how does it feel like?
Well, it depends on the individual. So if you have empathy, you will definitely go to any extent to mitigate the suffering of the people.
Right.
And as you rightly said, any IAS officer who works between 5 to 10 years in the field will face many situations, which is true even today. So today also, if you are a young subdivisional magistrate or later a district magistrate, you will face a lot of challenges, natural calamities, law and order, say fire accidents, and floods. And all these sort of things.
Mob menace, violent mob.
You can face. I in my 2-month stay in Jagtial, I was twice attacked by mobs.
Okay.
And on one occasion, I almost had to open firing to save my life. That incident I can tell you because that was with the Naxalites. You see, Karimnagar district was a disturbed area with the Naxalite influence. And Jagtial subdivision had 3 tehsils, Sirsila, Metpalli and Jagtial. And I had a law and order situation in Metpalli. So I was very young, I was just 3 months old into the job, and I rushed to the spot where some Naxalites had attacked a Dora landlord, Dora Garu. And the Dora Garu in self-defense opened fire with his weapon. He had weapons. And in that 2 people died. So then they wanted to lynch him on the spot, burn his muddy, that is the house and everything. And in that situation, I had a small contingent of police with me. And in those days, there were no mobile phones or anything. So the only communication was wireless, police wireless system. So I sent a message to the district collector in Karimnagar that I am proceeding to the spot and to please send some force. So then the additional SP started, but from Karimnagar to this place, I think it was probably 80-85 kilometers. Roads were not what they are today. So it took time. So during that 3 hours, I had this mob around me, and they were armed Naxalites, but they did not have firearms. Their firearms were not very common. This is 1978 October. 1978 October.
This is the second year of your service, I guess.
No, well, practically independent first year. Because 2 years is training. 2 years is training.
True.
So I had to, and I did not know Telugu language. I was learning Telugu, but because it was a Telangana district, people generally follow Hindustani or Hindi. And then a point came when they made a demand saying, hand over the Dora who had opened the fire. I said, no, that cannot be done. The police is coming. You cannot take the law into your hand. Yes, he has done a wrong thing, but you have attacked him. He did not attack you. He opened fire in self-defense. So for 2-3 hours, I had to keep them at bay. Then in that, one point came when it looked like, no, they will attack. So then I still remember the circle inspector was one Mr. Yadgiri. So I told him, Yadgiri साहब, अब ये तो अगर इन्होंने अटैक किया ठीक है भाई, हम मर जाएंगे, मगर हम तो मार के मरेंगे. तो हम तो ऐसे तो नहीं मरेंगे. I am not going to die. तो क्या करना साहब? मैंने कहा, you take positions. And when I tell you I am the magistrate, I'll order you open fire. And I say, you don't fire at anybody's legs. You hit in the neck or hit in the head. You fire for effect. You kill. Because there's no other way. Otherwise, we will be killed. So he was quite shocked. He thought this young boy, who's I was only 3 months old as SDM. Arey, isko kya malum? He is not from this place. He doesn't know the language. He tried to dissuade me. Sir, it's very sir, your life is at risk. I said, yes, this is my self-defense mechanism, my self-preservation instinct. I don't want to die like this. And if I have to die, definitely I will kill also and then die. So then he was hesitating. Then I said, you give me a weapon. So I took one rifle. And those rifles were 310 muskets, not even 303. They were old muskets. Then I pointed at the head. There was one fellow. I knew he's the leader. I just pointed the weapon and I took a position. We are trained in firearms. So during part of our training, we have training with the BSF. I knew how to use a weapon. And I was not bad also, in fact, in my aim. Then they realized that, this boy is serious. He will shoot. So they stopped. Then they started discussing kya karna amongst themselves. So in the meanwhile, luckily, the police force started arriving. And then they saved us. So that was a traumatic experience for me. And I was totally shaken. And I was very close to death that day. And then I was given a good dressing down by my senior, the joint collector of the district, who shouted on me and said, why did you rush to the spot? You should have, he said, you are an IAS officer. If you had opened fire, then only an ADM can conduct an inquiry against you. I would have had to do the inquiry. So I said, what should I have done, sir? He said, no, you should have sent the Tahsildar. And the Tahsildar is a magistrate. If he had opened fire, then you would have conducted the magisterial inquiry. But I told him, sir, is it not unethical that, I will be showing myself as a coward, that I knew that my Tehsildar is surrounded by Naxalites and I am sitting in Jagtial 50, 60 kilometers away. That means I'm scared to face the... Then he said, better to be scared in such situations. But it's a viewpoint.
True.
Anyway, I was very lucky. God saved me. I didn't have to eventually open the fire. And I'm still here before you.
Fantastic, sir. Amazing. So that presence of mind is also required in such situations.
No, I was totally scared. I'm not... It's not like some Amitabh Bachchan in some film or something. In real life, when it happens, it is very scary. And I have no hesitation in saying I was totally scared. But that self-preservation instinct takes over when you reach a point.
Right.
And I had reached a point where I thought, if I don't shoot that fellow, he didn't have a weapon, but he will... They had lathis, they had axes, they had skites. They will definitely attack, because they had set fire to a portion of the muddy also of the landlord. Then that landlord was very grateful to me because he was saved.
Yeah.
And later the collector and everybody appreciated, but at that time it was I was pulled up for being over adventurous.
Amazing to know, sir. So like people often misuse this term and they're also confused between a public servant and civil servant, right? Now, what exactly is the difference? Is there any difference per se? And if so, what is that?
No, there is a difference. A public servant, for example, a legislator, an MLA, an MP, they are also public servants under the law, but they are not civil servants. Civil servant is one whose salary is paid by the government of the day. Could be the state government or could be the central government, which is Government of India. And a civil servant is governed by set of rules and regulations which are called conduct rules, appeal rules, discipline rules. Whereas a public servant could be a sarpanch, an elected person. They have rules also, but they are not civil in that sense. And then the salary does not go from the same head as government officers. Government officers' salary comes from a dedicated head. Whereas a public servant, and then there are some legal judgments also, where in anti-corruption cases there have been controversies whether so-and-so falls in the category of public servant or not. Not civil servant. Civil servant, there's no controversy. If you are a government officer, you are a civil servant. But in public servant case, there have been controversies and the courts have given the orders also. So, for example, office of profit. If you are an MP, you cannot be holding something as a director of a company till you are MP, or conflict of interest, things like that. So that's the basic difference, that only a government servant can be called a civil servant, but other than government servant can be called a public servant. But in a larger sense, everybody is a public servant because he serves the public.
True that, sir. Serves the public and has to implement the constitutional mandate. No, sir, there is always this, dilemma. Who is more powerful? An elected representative who becomes the political executive in the form of a minister, or a career bureaucrat whom we call as a civil servant. Now, in this dilemma, what is the power dynamic and how should it be tackled with?
It's very simple actually. There's no conflict. If you are elected as and you become a minister, then you become part of the government. So then you are the boss of the civil servant. That's very clear. There is no dilemma or no conflict.
Master?
Well, there's no such master and servant relationship. See, then I have to explain a bit about the constitution.
Please.
You see, the constitution of our country has three wings, as you know.
Yes.
The legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Now, MLAs and MPs, they come in the category of legislature. Civil service comes in the category of executive.
Yes.
Difference is that the legislators are elected by a popular mandate and civil servants are selected by the government and appointed. So under the rules of business, both in the states as well as in Government of India, the powers are clearly defined. So let me tell you by way of a specific example. Like in Government of India, in the rules of business, I had the privilege of serving as independent secretary of 2 different ministries. My powers were defined. The secretary to the government is called administrative head of the department or ministry. And the minister is called the head of the government in that. Under the cabinet system, the powers are delegated. So a cabinet minister in Government of India has all the powers. Yes. Where it is required, then the decision goes to the cabinet. So everything is clearly laid down. So the conflict takes place when the minister wants something to be done, which the civil servant feels should not be done for whatever reasons. Then he has to record those reasons in writing and decline. Then it's the minister's choice whether he accepts the advice of the secretary of the ministry or he overrules. If he overrules and passes the order and still the secretary feels that is not correct, he can say, I will not execute this order, and he'll record reasons and he can go on leave. And then if the minister is powerful enough, he can go to the prime minister and get that secretary transferred. But if he cannot do that, he has to live with the secretary and he will have to withdraw his decision if it is wrong. I remember there were some instances I faced where I did not agree with the minister, and the minister, he withdrew his decision. No, example, I mean, I don't want to talk of, any politicians and others, but the principle was that he wanted something to be done. I pointed out this is not correct. He told me, no, you do it. I said, I will not do it. I did not do it. Then he withdrew his decision. That's it. So he was unhappy, to put it mildly, but he couldn't do anything to me. What could he do? He could have only gone to Prime Minister of India and told him that I want this secretary to be shifted. The Prime Minister would have told him why. Then if he had told the Prime Minister it is for this reason, at that time we had a Prime Minister with great integrity, Dr. Manmohan Singh. He would have said, no, you are wrong. What the secretary is saying is correct.
Yes.
So if the Prime Minister himself is going to do wrong thing, that's a different matter. In that case, the civil servant can only, go on leave or seek a transfer.
Right.
And worst comes to us, resign. Or take premature retirement. Many people do that.
Absolutely. They have
Many
the
people do that. They don't do a wrong thing, they take voluntary retirement. There are many cases like that.
Yes.
In our state it has happened. In Government of India it has happened.
True. Now here, sir, as you have said, ultimately based on the scenario that you have explained, the will of the civil servant is prevailing. Now recently there was a movie named Game Changer. In that the civil servant says I am permanently deployed, I have been selected through the UPSC, and when you compare it with a public servant or so-called political executive, they change. But a civil servant is a permanent person in the administration. So why should I follow a political executive? Now this is also one of the mindset that is creeping in off late. So what is your perspective on this?
No, I'm very clear. I never had this conflict, as I told you. There is no such thing like a civil servant. There's no need for a civil servant to think like that or even tell a minister that I am a permanent civil servant, you're there for 5 years. You may get elected or not elected after 5 years. Once you follow the constitution, once you follow the rules, these problems do not arise.
Right.
You have to be just clear. See, there's nothing personal in it. What happens when this is a very personalized approach. I never took it. Supposing you were my minister and you asked me to do something, I would say plainly, sir, this is not correct. After that, you have a choice. Okay, Mr. Khwaja, I think we can't work. So that's how I got transferred so many times, because I refused. So they didn't harm me. I was transferred. I may have been given a so-called insignificant post. Like, when I was transferred from MCH, for example, Municipal Corporation of Hyderabad, I was given a so-called punishment post, like I was made Commissioner of Small Savings and State Lotteries. And I was in that post for a year and a half, but I was very happy because wherever I went, I tried to understand what is the work I'm supposed to do, and I didn't try to do my best.
That should be the positive attitude.
That's all. I was always very detached. You see, if you get attached at a personal level, then this sort of conflict will arise. These are all, hypothetical, theoretical things, and any civil servant who thinks like that will definitely get into trouble. I mean, it's not a question of who's boss and who's permanent, who's temporary. It is just a simple, we have a set of business rules, we follow them.
True, sir. True, sir. So you also mentioned that individuals are not permanent. It is an institution and its integrity which has to be preserved. Today you could be a district magistrate, tomorrow you would be posted as a secretary. So you are holding the post, you're sitting in the chair because you're holding that post. But once you move, another person comes and occupies it. Now, some people get territorial. They get too, as you rightly mentioned, they get too attached to a particular post. In that scenario, to hold on to it, or to, when they have an aspiration to get that post also, they try to do all kinds of mendicancy, or what we call as political mendicancy, etc., or obliging unreasonably to political requests. So, as a person who wants a very good position in their career, now how do they actually achieve good positions if they don't oblige to political requests?
I don't know how it's happening now when the system is totally got, good institutions have been either dismantled or have been made powerless. It's very unfortunate. But if somebody serves 30 years, let us say, you will have your share of so-called good postings and so-called bad postings.
Right.
It all evens out. Of course, there are cases like that IAS officer, I don't remember his name, who was in Haryana Kada, who had 40 transfers.
Khemka, sir. Ashok Khemka.
Khemka Saab and all. Those are exceptional cases. You don't have too many examples like Mr. Khemka.
Yes.
And without knowing anything about him, I will not like to comment.
Yeah.
But obviously, he was a man, rather is a man of strong beliefs and character to have kept on getting transferred, but not, doing something which he thought is wrong. So those are exceptions. But like in my case, I served 38 years and I had 5 or 6 so-called very unimportant postings. I had a few very good postings and I had a few average postings. It all evens out. See, when you see your face in the mirror, you should be able to look at yourself and have some peace of mind. So if you play up to the political gallery or to politicians to continue in a post or to get a post, I never ever tried to get any post. I did try to get out of posts, but I never tried to get into posts. Because when I was not happy, I told the minister, you're not happy with me, better you get some other officer. So I did not face those issues.
Right.
So, but I know many of my friends, colleagues, seniors, juniors, yes, they get attached. And then at some point or the other, they also get into trouble.
Yep.
When the government changes, there are inquiries, there are what is called witch hunting.
Yeah.
And people are booked under inquiries. People have been jailed also. So all that happens.
So all that requires is like the right mindset again. So it depends on what kind of attitude and mindset that you have. Based on that, you take decisions. But here, sir, at a practical level, when we see, it is not just the people in our same cadre, in our hierarchy. By seniors, people who are also in the so-called lower echelons of bureaucracy. Now they have this inertia. They'll be like, we are in the system from decades together. Now ye aa gaya ek 22 years ka banda. Now he's dictating things to us. Now they'll always have this presumption that isko kya pata hai, what does he know? So this instances must have also been there, right, sir?
You're very right. In fact, that's a very perceptive observation you have made. It makes a lot of difference. So my first independent assignment was as Sub-Collector Jagtial.
Yes.
And today Jagtial is a district. In my time, it was a subdivision in Karimnagar district. And my head clerk, I still remember, was close to 53 and the retirement age was 55. In the IAS it was 58, but for the state civil service it was 55.
Yes.
So he and I was, when I took charge, I was 2 years training. I was 24. So he was more than double my age. And then there were one or two other senior people.
Yes.
And I could sense that they used to look upon me, Arey, he's just a bacha. And I used to, in fact, look underage because I didn't look my age at that time. I was a bachelor. And people used to think I'm studying in BA, but I was in the IAS.
True.
So I did face the situation, but then I have always believed in self-respect.
Right.
So during my training itself, my training was in Warangal district.
Okay.
I was very serious about my training, and I did a lot of reading and understanding of the revenue laws and other laws, which I knew I would be dealing with after 1 year as a sub-collector. So they were quite shocked by my level of knowledge.
Yeah.
And when they started putting up papers to me and files to me, they were quite surprised that, and after some time they used to say, sir, this is your first posting, you do not belong to this cadre. Telugu is not your mother tongue, I belong to Uttar Pradesh. How is it that you are so familiar with the revenue laws, which are so complex? Then I said, I have had 1 year's training and I have done my assignments and I have read these things. And then I used to say, you are there to guide me. You are having 30 years experience. So you are here. If I make a mistake, please correct me.
So, sir, and like in your experience as a bureaucrat, you always maintained this personal philosophy of having a Lakshman, Rekha in administration. Like as you've said in some of your interviews that you had this, red line where a particular integrity is to be maintained professionally, morally, and also when it comes to personal level. Now, in a system where there is political influence, right, on a day-to-day scale, how do you maintain such kind of boundaries?
Shashank garu, if life does not have challenges, and if life is not difficult, and if life is not paradoxical, then it is, as somebody said, the silence of the graveyard.
Wow.
I do not want the silence of the graveyard. So we have to, walk along the path and keep learning and unlearning.
Yeah.
And every individual has to make his own choices. Seniors can guide us, parents can guide us, people can motivate us. But the essence of every human being is his unique ability to learn and cope up with the situation.
Right, sir.
So I've served 38 years plus in the government.
Yes.
And I've had so many experiences which were adverse, which were challenging, which were difficult. And I have faced many, many, many very difficult moments. But I have never given up from being an incorrigible optimist. And the reason was that I was very clear. You said the Lakshman Rekha, yes, that term I used to use frequently. My Lakshman Rekha was that I'm willing to adapt, I'm willing to accommodate, but I'm not willing to break my basic principles. And my basic principles were, A, I'll do the right thing. See, I'll give you a small example. When I was commissioner of this city, I was commissioner of Hyderabad Municipal Corporation at a young age. That was in 1991. So I had only put in 14 years service by that time. So that means I was late 30s and I was commissioner of the city.
A huge responsibility.
Oh, yes. And then, after some time, I became so unpopular because people used to say, I will say in Hyderabadi, काहे को जाना मियाँ ख्वाजा साहब के पास, वो तो कानून की किताब बता देते हर काम के लिए. And I had to deal with a elected body.
Yes.
The mayor, there was an elected mayor and there were corporators, 100 of them. And they were very unhappy with me because they used to say, Saab, if you are not going to do what we are asking you to do on the ground that it is not right, then what are we cooperators for? Then why we are here?
Right.
You can't run the show. Then my reply was very simple. I used to say, Saab, please tell me, can I take decisions based on how a person looks like and say, because that person, he looks nice to me, I'll do his work. And that person does not look nice to me, I will not do his work. The only thing I'm telling you on your request is if it is within the rules, 100% it will be done. And I used to do it.
Right.
But if it is not within the rules, if I break the rule for you, then how can I refuse Mohan or Sohan tomorrow if I do it for Ram or Shyam today? So, so I had a very short innings. I was virtually kicked out after just 9 months and 10 days because they got together and they told the government of the day, कि किसको बिठा दिए लाके इधर, हटाओ इसको. So, and I was very happy to come out of it because I did not enjoy my stay, but I took it as a great learning experience.
Yes.
It was a great learning experience.
So, like, can you share any instances where you were punished for doing the right things?
Oh, there are many, not one. It depends on what sort of like for example, in Hyderabad, in the Municipal Corporation, the reason I was transferred was because the powers that were, they wanted me to approve a certain project.
Yeah.
And I pointed out that there's a High Court order. And that High Court order prohibits the MCH from taking that decision. So I was told, Arey bhai, how does it matter? Who's going to bother? Don't worry. You have the support of the political establishment. Just do it. I said, no, I'll not do it. So they removed me. Fine. So I was very happy because I did not do that wrong thing.
Right.
And later, after some time, there was somebody who did get involved in doing a wrong thing. And that person then faced a court case. I never faced a court case in my entire service even once, by God's grace. Right. Never. A lot of people filed cases against me.
Yeah.
But I was never pulled up by the court for doing something like contempt of court, any such thing.
Yes.
But I have faced a lot of court cases where people have filed, including in MCH.
Yes.
False cases.
Yes.
To just harass you, give you a bad name, and as you pointed out, to break your spirit.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
So you should be having that conviction. Like,
yes.
Conviction in your thought and also clarity in your deeds. I think that's what is required where you are efficient as an administrator. So like one of your proudest moments is also as the collector of Khammam district.
Yes.
Where you tackled one of the challenging situations of flood in 1986.
That's right.
You were also appreciated by the Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi ji.
Ji.
Right, sir. Like, now this crisis management situations, now there is a lot of panic also. Panic versus execution. How do you tackle this dilemma?
See, the floods which came in 86 affected the entire Godavari Valley. So starting north with the Karimnagar, Warangal, then down Khammam, and then east and west Godavari, the entire 6 districts of our state were affected. So it was an unprecedented situation. But we had taken some precautionary measures which are taken at the beginning of the season, that means monsoons. Right. And even now that is a drill. So there is a manual, like there's a drought manual, there's a flood manual.
Yep.
So I had been very diligent. We had stocked the civil supplies in the Girijan Corporation depots, GCC depots in the tribal areas. And we had taken certain other precautions. So to that extent, when the actual flood came, we were able to at least tackle some part of it. But it was an overwhelming flood because that level at Bhadrachalam had never been witnessed before, or even now it has not been witnessed in last 40 years, 45 years almost now.
Right.
And the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, he came the Prime Ministers come to see the damage and what rehabilitation requires to be done. But his visit was not immediately after the flood. Actually, he wanted to come, but he could not take off from Begumpet airport and get into the helicopter and come because the weather was adverse. Yeah. So it got postponed. But he did come after a few months. And that was, the flood was in August 86 and Prime Minister finally came in February 87.
Okay.
But before that he had come to Khammam in April 86. Right. And that was not to do with floods. That was for visiting the interior tribal areas.
Right.
And so I had the privilege of interacting with the Prime Minister of India 2 times as a collector of the same district. Once in 86 and then second time in 87. And in between we had these floods.
Yeah.
So in fact my stay was very, very unusual in the sense in 2 years, 3 months that I was there. I also had the privilege of being the collector when the Mahasamrajya Pattabhishekam took place at the Lord Ram temple in Bhadrachalam, which is once in 60 years.
True.
So it was in 1926 and then 1986. So I supervised that also. So that was a very big privilege. And then Mr. N.T. Ramarao used to be the CM of Andhra. And believe me, he came 12 times in my 27 months.
Wow.
12 times. He visited Khammam.
Yes.
Then I had I have handled visits of 2 different governors in the same period, Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma,
Yes. Who later
and
became the Prime Minister.
later became president.
Yeah.
And then Kumud Ben Joshi Garu from, so it was a very, very torrid time I had, very torrid time. So
Always on toes.
always in crisis, always in crisis. But ultimately what matters is team management.
Right.
No individual can provide leadership. It has team management. So I was very lucky. I had very good team members. I had very good colleagues. I had a lot of IAS officers who were very good, and I had officers from other services. I could take them along as a team with the police department, irrigation department, Panchayat Raj, revenue, rural development, all these. So we worked as a team and we could somehow, salvage the situation.
So you had the privilege of interacting with the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi ji. Now, when we see these tall leaders who are in such high positions, there's certainly something phenomenal about their approach. So, what was your first impression as a young collector?
No, I had a very, very good experience in the sense that Rajiv Gandhi ji was an extremely cultured human being.
Right.
He was very polite and he was very gentle, in fact. And he was willing to listen.
Yeah.
So it was a privilege for me, and I learned a lot by seeing him. I spent almost 1 hour when he came for the first time. It was a great experience, and I'm very lucky. I have some footage of that visit with me in my personal. I have some personal, videos, and that I have a footage.
Quite a beautiful memory.
Oh yes, very nice, very nice. And at that time, Khammam did not have TV also. So I retrieved it from Doordarshan archives many years later. And this visit was in 86. Second visit was a much longer visit. It was post-floods. But I don't have much footage of that, unfortunately. But he was a very reasonable person. He was very cultured, very polite. And I tried to do my homework, and he asked a lot of questions, and I tried to give replies. And he was quite appreciative at the end. While leaving, he actually complimented me. So that was one of the best moments in my professional life, to be complimented at a very young age by the Prime Minister of the country. So yes, I have very pleasant memories, and as you asked me the question, and as I talk about it, I can visualize that moment when he patted me on my shoulder and said, "You're doing well."
Quite nostalgic.
So that's a very wonderful memory.
Whether it is in corporate or government, now it is very few people who like to share the credit or acknowledge other people's effort. Now you have categorically mentioned about your team, the team leadership. Now, what does it take to develop this kind of mindset?
Humility, which I said in the beginning. You have to be humble. Right. If you are not humble, how will you learn? And if you are not nice to people, I was very strict, I was very tough, but I was always very kind and considerate to my colleagues.
Right.
So there was a bond of loyalty.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have written about 100 pages on my Singareni experience.
Yes, love with Singareni.
See, the book was originally called The Acrobatics of Change. It is co-authored by Mr. Mohit Siddiqui, who's a management guru, and I. And Mohit Siddiqui Sahab has written about the concepts, techniques, strategies of change management. And my part of the book is like a case study to complement his structural, theoretical framework. So my part is called the Singareni love story. Turn Around from the Heart. And I have written almost 100 pages in that.
People are usually surprised with the title also, sir. Singareni
Yes.
love story.
How can you love a coal company? So the chapters, my chapters are all very straight from the heart. So like my title is Love Story of Singareni, Turn Around from the Heart.
Yeah.
Then the first chapter is called My Romance with Singareni.
Okay.
People romance with girlfriends. I romance with Singareni. Then there's a chapter called The Lovebird in the Green Pastures of Singareni. There's a chapter called Learning from Adversity, the Test of True Leadership.
True.
The Power of Bonding, Singareniism. We coined a term, Singareniism, a philosophy, which you will find in the book.
Amazing.
The Magic of Communications, Reforms with the Human Touch. These are the chapters.
It's quite interesting, sir. Like even, when you're mentioning the themes of the chapters, that itself is...
Now the book has survived. It is now 18 years old. It is still selling.
18 years?
18 years. It was released in 2008.
Okay.
And then what happened? It was published by Sage.
Yeah.
Sage wound up their publications after COVID, 22.
Yep.
And they gave back the copyright to the
Copyrights,
authors.
yes.
So then we were lucky we got Atlantic publishers. So Atlantic have republished it. Only thing they have done is instead of acrobatics of change, they call it change management.
Change management.
So it's now available in the market as change management. And it had become a bestseller in 5 years. And it became a bestseller on its own. I never misused my official position to sell the book. In fact, even now, many of my IAS colleagues don't know I have authored that book. And they get surprised. Acha, you wrote a book when? I said, 18 years back. Are bataya nahi? I said, somehow
Yes.
escaped.
Again, humility out there. Now, sir, now when we talk about bureaucracy and administrative system, lot of things get delayed or derailed because of paperwork. For the middle class, it is frustrating. Now, for people in the underprivileged sections or poor families, that becomes their destiny. Sometimes they cannot get the rightful schemes or rightful benefits that they are entitled to. Now, how do we tackle the situation?
See, this is where I talk about the ISR concept.
ISR.
ISR.
Okay.
And for me, ISR stands for Individual Social Responsibility. My views have been very clear. In a democratic system, we are a democracy. Every citizen has equal rights and equal duties. The problem is when we don't have a sense of individual social responsibility, we demand only rights, but we do not discharge our duties. That is the basic problem and basic dilemma. As far as policies are concerned and people getting frustrated with paperwork, nowadays paperwork is not there, nowadays everything is electronic.
Yeah.
But that is because of the failure of individuals that when they see something wrong and there's an option before them not to do a wrong thing and to try to do the right thing, they give in immediately to the first option, which is the easier option. So if supposing like in my case, I generally never used to disclose my identity while traveling in a bus or in a train. And I have done a lot of train traveling in 3-tier, ordinary. I couldn't afford to travel. In those days, there was no AC 2-tier, AC 3-tier. So you went by 3-tier, ordinary, or you went by first class. Later on, in 78, around 78, the AC chair car, and AC chair car was there. So I used to travel, and I would never tell anybody, and nobody will know who you are unless you disclose. And when my co-passengers sometimes used to strike a conversation with me, "Aap kya karte hain?" and all, I would never disclose I am an IAS officer. If I was really pressed, I used to say, "मैं government में काम करता हूँ." अच्छा साहब, किस department में? नहीं, तो I would say whatever department I was working. Because I did not want them to know that this person sitting next to us in a second-class compartment, ordinary, is an IAS officer. Because then they will give me different responses and different replies.
Yeah.
So in such situations, it has happened that I was asked to pay money to the TT, something. I never paid. I refused. And if the TT, I remember on one occasion, the TT threatened me saying कि मैं तुमको अगले स्टेशन पे उतार दूंगा. This was in the Hindi speaking belt.
Yes, yes.
And then I just gently told him कि you don't know who you are talking to. I am so and so. So don't talk like this to me. Then he immediately said, Acha, we were not having any identity cards.
Yeah.
We never, when I was district collector, I never had an identity card saying I am a district collector. So it was only your word, and that person believes or disbelieves. But somehow I think that moral authority, when it is there and you look in his eyes and you tell him, he believed. So then, now the other thing was I could have done what most people do. Kya bhai 2 rupees to mang raha hai. You know, in those days it was 2 rupees, big amount.
Yeah.
Just paid 2 rupees. Okay, ye seat allot ho gaya. So our people also don't stand up for what is correct. They only want things. They don't want to, as I said, discharge their duties.
Civic duties.
So this is a problem. You look at helmet rule, for example.
Yeah.
If the police challan somebody, say, kya hai ye? Arey bhai, if you break your head, what difference does it make to the constable on duty? It is your life which is there.
You're responsible for
So
yourself.
you have to protect yourself. So this is the problem. In Singareni, I had this big dilemma. When I was CMD, I had a workforce of 1,05,000.
Yeah.
And I was there for 5 years. And I tried to promote safety.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed. People would just not take it seriously. Then there were some serious accidents in my time. And after that, people started realizing, and then the consciousness levels improved. So our problem in our society, to sum up, I said 2 things in the beginning. One is we are not having ISR concept, individual social responsibility. And number 2, we really don't feel that we are citizens having stake in this country. It's a democratic system. Everyone has one vote only. Everyone has equal rights and equal duties. So we ignore the duties, we look at the rights and say, Naku kavali in Telugu. I don't care what happened, Naku kavali. That is wrong. You want, everybody wants the same thing. So everybody has to have a sense of responsibility.
Yeah. So now I want to move on to the next chapter, that is your love story with Singareni. Now, like, you're publicly credited from turning a massive loss-making PSU, public sector undertaking, into a profitable one. Now, when you first entered into the Singareni, what were your initial observations? What was the actual problem over there?
Complex situation, because Singareni even today is the biggest public sector undertaking in Telangana state.
Yeah.
Very, very complex. But I have mentioned all these things in the book I wrote. In the very first chapter, I mentioned that. And very simply put, you had technological issues, you had human issues, that is, Sikasa was still active, so the Naxalite influence was very much there. There was a culture of strikes. In fact, Singareni holds the world record of maximum number of strikes, world record, not just in India. And technology issues, as I said, underground mining, open cast mining, how to improve what is called output per man shift, that is productivity. Then there were quality control issues. The Godavari Pranhita Valley coal is not very good in terms of its gross calorific value and useful heat value, as it is called. So that was an issue. And then managing such a huge workforce, where you had a lot of trade unions, a lot of conflicting situations. Then, of course, the company was in losses. So in 92, it had been referred to BIFR, Board for Industrial Financial Reconstruction.
Yeah.
And the government bailed it out, state government. Again, it became 6 in 1996, second time. So at that time, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu was Chief Minister of the state. And I have mentioned in my book that a lot of credit goes to him as the CM. He had the political will. So my immediate predecessor served for almost 5 years. I can name him a very distinguished colleague, Mr. APVN Sharma. I have mentioned a lot about him in the book. And he, and under the guidance of the Chief Minister, very bold decisions were taken, like holding elections to the trade unions, tackling a lot of issues. So he was there for almost 5 years. So things started improving and the company's losses started decreasing. When I took over from him, I carried forward all the reforms that he had initiated. And I further consolidated the situation. And I added my own innovative, many innovative things I did. They are all summarized in this book. And by the grace of God, after 37 years, we paid a dividend to the Government of India and Government of Andhra Pradesh. Government of India has 49% share in it. And Government of Andhra Pradesh is 51%. Now it's, of course, Telangana because of the bifurcation of the state. And we came into a net profit regime after 25 years. Net profit regime means year after year profit, and that too PAT, profit after tax, not profit gross before tax. So PAT, profit after tax. And when I left it, it was a debt-free company. Not a single paisa was owed to any financial institution. So it was again teamwork, and that's why my part is now you can understand why I call it love story. Because there was so much passion involved and so much dedication and single-minded devotion to the organization. And I had a wonderful team of colleagues, very good engineers, mining engineers and others, and good colleagues from other departments, very good finance people. Some IAS colleagues also worked with me in administration. It was all teamwork.
So you've just mentioned about the then Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Nara Chandrababu Naidu. So how was it like, what kind of leadership was carried where where it was helpful to turn around Singareni?
It's very simple again. In our democratic system, and as I said in the beginning, in the constitutional system, the politicians are the bosses because they make, please note, they make policy. And they are also in charge of seeing that the policies made are executed. So they are the political bosses. We are professional civil servants. We are permanent civil servants till we are there. And our job is to execute the policies. It's only if some illegal direction is given or something wrong is to be done that you can refuse. Otherwise, how can you refuse if there's a legitimate direction? You can't. So Mr. Naidu, when he was Chief Minister, he was very clear. He knew that if the state has to prosper, the cost of power, this is the only coal mining company in South India, even today, Singareni. So Singareni was giving him a terrific economic advantage by having pithead operations. Because you have mining in Ramagundam, you have thermal power stations there. You have mining in Kothagudam, you have thermal power stations there. And mind you, that was United Andhra Pradesh. Then you have Vijayawada, so you could send your coal to Vijayawada. You had Nellore, you could send your coal to Nellore. You had a Rayalaseema, you could send your coal to Kadapa. So the entire Andhra Pradesh thermal power stations, Singareni coal used to go there. Now if Singareni runs in losses or closes, then the state government has to buy that coal from Mahanadi coal fields, which is in Odisha, the nearest, or Western coal fields, which is in Nagpur. So your cost of operations goes up immensely. Your cost of generating power goes up immensely. Secondly, the employment aspects. It provides employment. So if it employs 1 lakh people, you are directly or indirectly supporting 5 to 6 lakhs. Because each family will have 2 to 3 children, if you take 5 also. And Mr. Naidu was very clear about it. And he gave absolutely decisive, clear leadership. And I have said in my book also, I am very clear about it, that when there is political will and the political executive is determined to do something, they will do it. And that's what he did. So if you read the book, you will find that I have mentioned about him. And I have not written anything in a spirit of flattery. Very factual. Absolutely factual. Nothing to flatter Mr. Naidu or anybody else. But I found him very good to work with. He was absolutely professional. I had a very good equation with him. Whatever I used to say, he used to listen. We used to differ. We used to discuss. And we used to come to a decision. That's it.
Yes.
It could not have been a better relationship.
So from a leadership perspective, how was it working with him, sir?
No, I've already told you, no, could not have been better. Straightforward.
Sir, a government institution like Singareni, it is historically having a sense of inertia, right? A sense of rigidity in its administrative setup. Now, when you're bringing about dynamic changes, there's also a kind of reversal that you see from the existing ecosystem out there. So how did you tackle that rigidity, sir?
No, we did not have a rigid approach. We took all the stakeholders, especially the trade unions, into confidence through communications, through consultations. There were two very big strikes in my time. In fact, one of the strikes was the biggest strike. And we always took a principled stand.
Yeah.
So the trade unions, they lost out on both the occasions. Lost out means normally what happens in such a huge industry like coal industry is that the trade unions have a set of demands, 1, 2, 3. You negotiate and then you give some, they give in, and finally you come to some compromise.
Yeah.
That okay, so then you sign, because it's a legal process, because the Government of India Labour Department is also involved. The Commissioner of Labour has to witness. It's a legal document.
Right.
It is enforceable in the labour courts. So in my time when we had these two strikes, both the times I told the government that this will be the stand, and don't ask me to change the stand midway because you can't take the pressure. So the government agreed and they supported fully. With the result, history was created and the union demands were not conceded.
Right.
And they gave up the strike and it broke their back. So that was a great morale booster for the organization. And the majority of the workers then realized, and they told the union leaders, what is this? You are necessarily fighting the management. That is a very, very lengthy subject.
Yeah.
But I have touched upon it in the chapter, Learning from Adversity, the Test of True Leadership. I have mentioned about both the strikes. One was in 2002 August, and the second was in 2003 January, February. But the January-February strike was a landmark strike in the sense that the government did not give in.
Right.
Did not give in. And they tried everything. They means the trade unions and the politicians. But the government did not give in. And because the government did not give in, that proved to be a turning point. And after that only the company turned around and turned into profits.
So from a decision-making perspective, we cannot always lead by authority, right? Now, there are multiple stakeholders involved over here. Like when we are talking about Singareni, the workers, the unions, politics, and also the legacy of Singareni at stake. Now, how do you know when to negotiate and when to say a firm no? Now, what is that tipping point as an administrator?
That is, you have to have a strategy. You must have the confidence of the government. First of all, the government should say, yes, this is what we are willing to agree to. This is what we are not willing to agree to. And then there has to be, between the management and the government, absolutely being on the same page, same sentence, same word.
Right.
Otherwise, there will be embarrassment, because if the government doesn't back the management or the management does something which embarrasses the government, there will be a fallout.
Yeah.
So when these strikes took place, we were on the same page. And moreover, as you rightly said, a strike situation evolves every minute, not every day.
Right.
There are ebbs and flows, new developments, new demands, new situations. But when the union realized that the management is not going to give in to unreasonable demands, that was the breaking point for them.
Yeah.
If the government had given in, and history had been that at some point of time the government said, "Arey kar do bhai, 10 din ho gaye, ye ho gaye, wo gaye."
Yeah.
Given. I had said in the very beginning, look, if you want to give in, then don't negotiate. You give in to the demand.
Rightly said.
So they were asking X, you give in to X. But if you say, no, I will not give in to X, then on what basis are you saying? So you are saying on the basis of principles,
Right.
on the basis of the legal position, on the basis of the profitability of the company, the professional working of the company.
Yes.
And that is what, as the chief executive, I am supposed to be leading as the member of the team, as the leader of the team. So if we want the company to do well, and it's a government company, so by definition, government also has to do well. So both have to do well. Then where's the contradiction?
True.
So then we were able to convince the unions, and that's a very, very, very long and exciting journey. Not just a story, but a journey.
I'm sure your pragmatic approach was one of the crucial factors in having the massive turnaround.
Principles. Principles. I used to cite one couplet, which I will relate to you also and translate it into simple English.
Please.
I used to tell a doha of the famous, historical, almost saintly poet of India, Rahim, who, whose dohas are famous.
Yes, sir.
So in that there is one doha of his ke, Rahiman dhaga prem ka, na tooto so jaye. Jo toot ke jodo, to phir gaat pad jaye. So I used to tell the union, look, don't break the thread of understanding and relationship. It can be repaired, but there will be a knot. So do you want the knot? Then it will be a knotted relationship. I've had a good relationship with you. Let's keep it like that. But they didn't agree, so they lost, and then there was a knot. And they could never meet me in the eyes after that. The trade union leaders, whenever they used to come, they used to say, "Ji sir," like this. Because I stood by, I didn't give in. They had to give in. And a workforce of 1 lakh employees giving in is a very big thing.
Yeah. Sir, you worked as the secretary to the Government of India in various ministries. So what was the difference in the field level at the state level work compared to the work environment and ecosystem in New Delhi?
It's quite different. See, the central government, which is called the union government, has its powers under the constitution. So that's called the central list. So most of the crucial powers are with the central government, like currency, coinage, defense, foreign policy, banking, all these things are with the union government. And the union government, whatever decision it takes, applies from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Mizoram to Gujarat. That means every inch of the country, Bharat, entire Bharat. Whereas in a state, the decision is limited to the geographical confines of that state. It could be a small state like Mizoram, or it could be a huge state like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. So the jurisdiction of the government of India is national, and the decision making of government of India affects every citizen. Whereas a decision taken in a state only affects the state, like the educational system, like the health care system, for example. These are within the confines. So Kerala, the health indexes, health parameters are far better than, let's say, Telangana, things like that. That is the biggest difference. The second difference is international exposure. When you are working in Government of India, you have the opportunity to visit many countries and negotiate and learn and be member of delegations or lead delegations. So you get that experience, which you will not get in a state. If you lead a delegation, you are leading a state delegation. There you are sitting behind the Indian flag and you are leading Government of India, means India. You're leading the Indian delegation. Sure. So it's a different experience. It's a different range. And generally, many IAS officers used to prefer that experience to working in the state because of the vast canvas and the vast learning that you can do and the opportunities of serving the country, literally length and breadth of the country.
So like in this kind of departments or ministries like mining department, there's several stakeholders involved. Like when it comes to environmental clearances, it also involves economics, environment, politics, public interest, and likewise. Now over here, when it comes to decision making, which is harder, taking a decision and making everybody agree and then take a decision, or you take an individual decision and carrying the burden of that decision after it is taken?
No decision is taken individually in government. Even the Prime Minister's decisions are technically not individual.
Perfect.
They are supposed to be cabinet decisions. So in the government of India, I had the opportunity to work in 5 different ministries in different capacities. But as secretary, I worked for 2 years, 3 months in Ministry of Tourism, and as secretary in the Ministry of Mines for a year and a half. But apart from that, my longest tenure has been in the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change,
Yes.
where I worked for 5 years as joint secretary. Later, I went as additional secretary. When I got promoted as secretary to the government of India, I was designated as special secretary. So I have worked 8.5 years in the Ministry of Environment in government of India.
Yeah.
And that was my most fulfilling
Yes.
assignment. And I mean, again, it's a huge ocean. I mean, 8.5 years in one ministry is a huge ocean of experience. But no decision is taken at an individual level. There will be committees, there will be experts, and there will be, in Government of India in particular, in the cabinet system, there are standing committees, like Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, for example. Then, parliamentary controls are very strict in Government of India. You have different Public Accounts Committee, Public Estimates Committee. You appear before them, you explain the ministries. So whether you are a secretary or you are an under-secretary, individual decisions are not there. Individual decisions can only be taken in those assignments where certain statutory powers are vested in you.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in Income Tax Department, the commissioner has certain powers.
Yes.
He can do that. Or if you look at the administrative service, then when you are a sub-collector, you have certain powers which are independent. If you take a wrong decision, the aggrieved party can go and appeal to the next higher level, to the collector, and appeal against the order of the sub-collector. So those are called line and staff functions in government. Staff functions are where you are in the secretariat and in policy. And line functions are when you are in the field, in the districts. So Government of India is mostly staff, policy making, and very complex and very interesting, very, very interesting.
So like as you've mentioned, like 8 years in the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So, and I also know that environmentalism is something close to your heart. But in recent times, we see a lot of people around, they just pay lip sympathy to environment and environmentalism. So in that scenario, what do you think are the general public actively ignoring when it comes to environment?
I'm glad you brought this up. I will just say 2 things. Firstly, I think very few human beings on the planet, forget India, are aware that we have entered the 6th mass extinction phase already. So it's a very serious situation. It is almost irreversible. Climate change is almost irreversible.
So if you could briefly explain what is mass extinction.
Well, you see, irreversible means it's a very complex subject, but very simply put, we have done so much damage to Mother Earth through what are called anthropogenic
factors,
actions of ours. Anthropogenic means where human beings do something. Whether it is mining, whether it is the coastal areas, whether it is the deforestation, whether it is the greenhouse gases, and all these things, that the earth is unable to take. And that's why you see extreme weather everywhere. This summer, for example, is one of the hottest. Next year will be hotter than this year. And if we are still on the planet for some more years, we'll see hotter, hottest, go on adding EST.
The extremities of weather.
Yes, so that is what it means. And I have always advocated that there is a very simple statement in Hindustani that jaan hai to jahan hai, which means when you are alive, jaan hai, to jahan hai. The world is also alive.
You reframed it actually.
So I have said, I have reversed the paradigm to jahan hai to jaan hai. The best example is that supposing you want to drink water. So How do you get water? From where do you get water? Either you get it from subterranean, under the ground, you dig a well, or you put a machine and extract the water. Yeah. Or you get it from the sky when it rains, you save the rainwater. Or you get it from a natural flowing water source, some stream, some river, some pond. Or you go into technology like water osmosis technology and take some salty water and convert it into potable and drinking water. But you need water. So imagine a situation when the water is not there. You have so exploited the ground underground, like in Hyderabad, western part of Hyderabad, the groundwater table has dipped badly. Yeah. So then Jahan will not be there. When the Jahan will not be there, automatically you and I will not be there. So Jahan will not be there. So that's why I say Jahan hai to Jaan hai.
Such a powerful statement, sir. Jahan hai to Jaan hai. So
exactly.
It has a very wider.
And I've been saying this for about 25 years now. And I'm on record. In fact, when I was in tourism as Secretary, Government of India, I gave the slogan. It was widely appreciated by everybody. And I have got printed, I have got in print this statement and my interview recorded with some magazine. Yes, sir. Jahan hai. So, in fact, later on, the Prime Minister, present Prime Minister of India has also used this. Jahan hai to Jahan hai somewhere. I think he said it around the COVID times or just before that. But I was very amused because, I was tempted to say, "Arey bhai, ye to hamara slogan hai."
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. So another thing, sir, like India has 2.4% of the world's habitable land mass, but supports about 18% of the global population today. We have also overtaken China regarding that. Now here, there is this dilemma. Developing nation, where we need to take care of roti, kapda, makan, because we have more challenging issues in that scenario. And how do you balance it with growth or sustainable growth per se? Now, there is always this dilemma, ecology versus development. That is a narrative. How do we look at this?
See, I have proved this, that both can go together in my Singareni experience. And there is a book I published which is called Eco-Friendly Coal Mining, the Singareni Approach.
Right.
And I showed that there can be mining of coal which is more consistent with environmental values rather than totally opposed to environmental values. And the Terry Award for Corporate Excellence in Environment was awarded to Singareni in 2006, June. And we became the first coal mining company in India to receive that award. So this dilemma, this is again a very complex issue. This dilemma is there, but it's not irremediable. It is not, irrevocable. There are ways of doing sustainable development. In fact, that is my area of strength. I have always been talking on this and I've been working on this.
Sir, you also worked in the Ministry of Tourism. Now, in Indian context, what do you think that we still underestimate about Indian tourism, sir?
Our concept of tourism is unfortunately not at all, constructive. In India, the domestic tourism is basically spiritual tourism. Almost all the tourism statistics that you have are for religious places, spiritual, like say Tirupati, for example. Natural tourism, going to natural spots, or heritage tourism, going to forts and palaces,
right.
Or, creative tourism of going to museums and all. Those things, as far as India is concerned, Indians, it's not very popular.
Yeah, they're given very less priority.
No, the Indians are more into... Secondly, the problem with tourists in India is the problem of lack of civic sense, or in fact a negative civic sense. So this was my biggest challenge as tourism secretary. So I gave the slogan, safe, honorable and sustainable tourism.
Amazing.
Safe means, like you keep reading, unfortunately, that especially some foreigners have been robbed or something.
True.
So your honor should be intact, your safety should be intact, and it should be sustainable. And the simple definition of sustainable is carrying capacity.
Yeah.
You take Lord Venkateshwara temple in Tirumala Hills as an example. So in a day, X number of devotees can visit the temple. Now, the day you permit double the number of X, you'll have stampedes, you'll have people dying of heat in the line and all. So that is carrying capacity, simple.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a place of natural beauty, or you want to go to Golconda Fort, for example, Qutub Shahi tombs, heritage, or you want to go to Epipotla Falls or Nagarjuna Kunda, you must have the carrying capacity. Where is the parking? Where is the water? Where is the sewage? Where is the garbage disposal? And local population must benefit. They should get employment and jobs. But anyway.
Rightly said, sir. I think that should be the approach that...
it has to be sustainable.
Yes. So recently I was just going through one of your books, sir. It was to deal with civil services aspirants and also, what should be their approach per se. Now, there is one line of thought which says that if not for the power, prestige and the perks that the IAS gives, what should be the compelling reason for an individual to get into civil services?
See, about the book, let me tell you, I am happy you raised it because I was looking forward to you asking me.
Yes, sir.
See, based on my experience, which is 38 years in the IAS, and after that also I have worked as Director General ASCI,
yes,
that is Administrative Staff College of India, and practically my working experience is 48 years because till last year I was chairing a high-level committee of Government of India in the NBA, National Biodiversity Authority. And I have chaired a number of committees. I have also been independent director in public sector undertakings. So finally I thought, when I crossed 70, I thought that now, what can I give back further to society and to the youth of our country?
Yeah.
And I set up a website called Right Step Forward Learning and Development. I will give you the details.
Sure.
And the idea is people can access me and I can share my experiences and thoughts. And outcome of that was I have co-authored a book with a young professor. The title of the book is From Aspirant to Civil Service.
Yes, sir.
A winning approach. So it's an approach. And this, the USP of this book is it's not a coaching book.
Yes, sir.
It's not a book which tells you how to prepare just for some particular paper. It is a book which is for upgrading, upskilling your personality, your qualities, unleashing your inner potential. And as far as the IAS part, last part is concerned, see, this prestige power will always be there, that glamour will be there, and there's nothing wrong with it, provided that's not the compelling reason for trying to get into the service.
Yes.
The compelling reasons should be a sense of service to society. And I can tell you, having served in the service, apart from the opportunity to serve your own country, your motherland, your own people, it is immensely, in fact, I would say beyond words, creative. And you realize your strengths and you develop so much of intellectual prowess and you develop so much of confidence when you deal with difficult situations. You handle absolutely unexpected situations and then you come out of it successfully. So it's a great opportunity. And I would encourage young people to prepare themselves. So what happens in the process of preparation? You upgrade yourself. Right. And if you don't make it, and you know what the competition is, out of few lakhs people who write the prelims, finally, hardly 100, 200 get into the IAS, IPS and foreign service, and total is somewhere around 900 on an average, which includes every service. So what is the percentage of success? So what happens then if you don't get in? So our book focuses on how to overcome the fear of failure and how to build yourself. I'll gift you a copy. I brought it for you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I'm sure the book will be of great help to aspirants in figuring out the right approach for the preparation and also developing the right mindset to clear this examination. Yes. Thank you for such amazing insights, sir. I'm sure your life journey and the kind of experiences that you have shared with us will certainly be a source of inspiration and will also continue to boost the morale of the aspirants as well as the general society per se. Thank you so much for this honest conversation, sir.
Thank you very much, Shashank Garu, for giving me this opportunity, and I enjoyed interacting with you. And I do hope that the sharing of experiences will be of mutual benefit, and may God bless us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.